His name is Alfonso Zarate Takano. He's got a bit of a good story to tell. He's representing the team from Martin Professional, and we'll be talking to you a little bit about lighting design. So let's bring on stage Alfonso.
Hello everyone, I'm Alfonso. I work for Martin Professional in charge of the lighting design of Jeanette Eckelman 1.36 at iLight 2014. If you haven't been there, please visit all the artworks at iLight because they're all wonderful. It's a really nice event and it's for free. Not many things you can get for free in Singapore. So just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Peru until the age of 17. Then I moved to Japan and I stayed there for 19 years. Then I came to Singapore a couple of years ago and I worked for a Danish company. So if you look at this, you can see that all the flags are showing red and white, which is really cool. I guess it should be my favorite colors from now on. Before working in lighting, I was actually working in IT. And one day a friend of mine just introduced me to this moving light that you see here in the picture. And I just fell in love with it and I thought I really like to work in something related to lighting. And then one thing led to another, and after a short while I was working in lighting, and that's how everything started for me 10 years ago. But when people ask me what I do, I say work in dynamic lighting. It's hard to explain what that is, because what is dynamic lighting? So I guess it's something like what you see here. It's something that's supposed to create some kind of a special atmosphere, lighting that changes color, that creates some special moods. Could be used in a live show, at a garden, and a building facade, on an office space. But if we go back a little bit in time and see how recent artificial light actually is, we'll see that for thousands of years we've been using just natural light. Then we had oil lamps, we have candles originating in China, and then petroleum lamps. But for a long time this is all we had. For thousands of years, this is all the lighting we had available for lighting up spaces. And then came the incandescent lamp only 130 years ago. And at that time, this incandescent lamp only had a lifetime of 40 hours. It was nothing compared to what we have today. So on the right, you see all the technology that we have available today that makes us possible to achieve all these special effects. But ironically, in spite of all the technology that we have, the one feeling that people want to feel at their homes is the warmth of natural light, because it makes us feel good, makes us comfortable, it relaxes us. The next slide is actually showing a very good example of that. This is an artwork by a Danish artist. It's called the Weather Project 2003 in London. This artwork is supposed to represent the light of the sun. And when people go into the venue, they started naturally just laying down on the floor. No one told them to do that. They just did it because they felt so good in this environment. So this is how important lighting is actually, how it affects us emotionally. But if we feel so good with just warm light, what do we need dynamic lighting for? We have to point out first that dynamic lighting has a totally different purpose to general lighting. It's supposed to catch people's attentions. It has a different purpose at all. This is a good example of that. This is a multimedia show in Korea. This is a rather cold but also valid way to explain the purposes of dynamic lighting in a commercial application. It's meant to attract people, to make them stay, hopefully to make them spend. But this process has to repeat itself and make the people come back or spread the word of mouth so other people join as well. But we'll try to focus a little bit on the two first ones, which is attract and stay. For that to happen, everyone involved in the design process has to have a very clear idea what they want. The end user needs to know exactly what they want. The lighting designer has to come up with ideas to achieve those ideas of the end user, and the manufacturer has to achieve that from a technical perspective. But how do we attract people? That's the problem. In order to do that, we need to identify our crowd and come up with that special atmosphere that will touch them, that will create some kind of emotion in them. That's the key word, to create some kind of emotion in people. We have different factors. In order to do this, it could be the cool factor, for instance, in a club, a place like this. People are excited, people are sociable, they're friendly, they want to make friends. So the lighting has to match that state of emotion of these people to make them feel good about themselves, to make them have a good time. Then we have also the surprise factor, something that happens unexpectedly, that people are not actually expecting to happen. People just react to it with surprise. and it's supposed to make people engage into what's going on and make it enjoyable as well. Then we also have the funny factor, which is something like you see here. It's not like a very direct message, but it's supposed to catch people's attention with a funny message. So people like tweet it or post it on Facebook kind of thing. This is actually not easy to achieve, it's quite hard to do. We also have the interactive factor, where people interact with the light, play with it, the light reacts to the movements. It works very well actually with children, with younger people. A lot of the works that you see in iLight are actually related to interaction with the people and the artwork. Then we have the cultural factor as well. This is totally related to cultural aspects of a certain place. It could be linked to religion, to history, etc. And it has to send a very specific message across, according to that cultural background that we're working on. And then we have the human factor. Here, lighting is not really the star of the show. It's the people. Lighting has to enhance the beauty in the people and try to help them express that message that they want to get across. But we also have a lot of non-commercial applications where it's just about sending a very straightforward message. Like you see here, this is supposed to make us think, to meditate about something in particular, in this case, our planet, for instance, and to make us be aware of our surroundings and think a little bit more about things. But in the end, no matter what the factor is, the key factor here, the important thing is that we're able to trigger emotions in people. That's the most important thing, because if we don't have that, then it will not lead to anything else. So that's the most important thing from my point of view. Thank you very much.